will fly. I will fly away, away, away.
Hello, it's your boy Davidoff and welcome back to Movie Monday. This week's video is about the MCU. We're going to review movie by movie all 22 chapters of the Infinity Saga from Iron Man all the way to Endgame. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail. I've already made videos about going into detail basically. I've done the Black Panther spoiler talk, Endgame spoiler talk, it's like an hour long, Infinity War spoiler talk. And I did a whole marathon for like the MCU from Iron Man up till for Ragnarok, I think. Yeah, I did a whole marathon for that leading up to Infinity War. So I made a video for each one explaining what I thought about it. So because I made those videos already, I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'm just going to like tell you briefly my thoughts on each one. But you never know, I could get carried away. Like some movies I'll talk about like 30 seconds, another movie might be like 10 minutes. Who knows? It depends. But you'll see this video length by the time you watch this, obviously. But it could be 10 minutes, could be an hour. Not aiming for an hour though, I'm trying to make it a bit shorter, a lot shorter, but we'll see how the video goes. Let's start with Iron Man then. Iron Man was a great movie, a great origin story. For me, even now, it is the best origin story in the MCU. The very first MCU movie, even now, still for me, the best origin movie, in my opinion. There's other good ones, but for me, it's Iron Man. It still holds up now, 11 years later. This movie needed to work. There are some movies in the MCU that needed to work for the MCU to be what it is now. And Iron Man was one of them. It was one of them. And it worked. It was great. It was fantastic. I just loved that movie, man. I'll watch it again, to be honest. Like, I think at some point, I think after Spider-Man, Far From Home, I think I'm going to watch all the movies again, like in a row. Like one per day, maybe. I might do like a marathon like that. Not for a series, though. Just my own time, because I got to rewatch the Infinity Saga. Like, I want to see the whole story again. Like, it's just amazing. But the guy who started it all... By the way, this will contain spoilers for, this probably will contain spoilers for every MCU movie, including Endgame. Just so you know. If you don't want Endgame spoilers, then don't watch this. But, he was the one who started the MCU. And the famous quote from that movie was, "I am Iron Man." And he ends the Infinity Saga in Endgame by saying, "I am Iron Man," with the Infinity Stone, snaps his fingers, wipes out Thanos and his army, and then Tony dies. I just think it's a very poetic ending. Like, people wanted Cap to die instead and Tony to get his family ending, happy ending. And I get that, to be fair, but at the very least, they gave Tony a few years with a nice family. They did. At least they gave him that. It was off screen, to be fair, mostly, but still, he had time with a daughter, with his wife. He still had a family life. It wasn't a happy ending, but he still had a family life, and I think it was fitting that he was the one that would end it after he was the one that started all of it anyway. And I just think it was great, like, the way it was done. And Cap, like, ever since the first Cap movie, he wanted that dance, but he never got it. And then he finally gets it for real at the end of Endgame. So I'm satisfied. Even though I thought Cap would die instead, I'm still satisfied because I felt it was still a very nice ending for both characters, in my opinion. But yeah, that's just my opinion basically on Iron Man and Captain America deaths. Because some people have a problem with some things. Like I can see the issues, to be fair. But I think the way they did it was perfect. I think it was very nice. Oh, by the way, in my spoiler talk, I mentioned how I didn't want Bucky to. I wanted Bucky to have the shield, not Falcon. I wanted Bucky to get it. The thing is, I'm kind of in the middle now, just because Bucky did kill Tony's parents. He was mind controlled, but it was still him while mind controlled. I just think one of the reasons could be that it was out of respect for Tony. Because it would be a bit weird, innit? He's a wanted assassin. I'm pretty sure he's still wanted. And, you know, for him to get the shield after, it probably wouldn't have felt right. You know, based on what's happened before in Civil War and Winter Soldier, it probably wouldn't have been the right decision. So I'm kind of okay now with Sam holding it. Plus, I've seen like comic book pictures of Sam Wilson, Captain America, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So I'll give it a chance. Like I give everything a chance, even if I disagree. Like at first I thought I want Bucky to do this, not Falcon, but I'm still gonna give it a chance. They got a series coming up, Bucky and Falcon. So is that what it's called? Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think it's called. Either way, it's a buddy cop sort of thing, I'm pretty sure. That should be fun, I think. I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, off topic. See what I mean? It could be longer than usual because I keep going off topic. But anyway, yeah, Iron Man was great. So the second movie was The Incredible Hulk. The most out of place movie because it was a different actor. To be honest though, look, I don't hate Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. I don't hate it. It's not terrible. Professor Hulk, I get it. But I didn't like Professor Hulk that much. Like I wanted a more menacing Hulk, and I get why. I get that it makes sense. It makes sense. I get why everything is like that. That's the whole story arc of the Hulk in the MCU. But still, you know, he wasn't as bad as Infinity War Hulk though. Infinity War Hulk was just terrible. Like he was only there for the first scene. But you know, I liked him in Ragnarok, to be honest. It's just that they made it too comedic with him. Like the fact that it sounds like a 2-year-old, for me that's not a bad thing. But you can make someone sound like a baby and make it serious. Like it can work, but you know they made it more comedic, obviously, because it suited the movie, to be fair. But I did not have an issue with the Hulk sound like a baby smashing things. I had no issue with it. It's just that after that in Infinity War, wasn't a big fan. But The Incredible Hulk, this movie, Edward Norton, for me, was a better Hulk than Mark Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo is not a bad Hulk. I just think Edward Norton's better. I just think his Hulk was better. Just my opinion. I just thought like his portrayal of Hulk was actually really good and very underrated. But was it a good movie? Nah, not really. Edward Norton carried all the good bits. Like he carried everything that was good about the movie. Apart from that, it wasn't really a good movie. The plot wasn't that great. The action scenes were good, but because Hulk was in it. But it wasn't a good movie. But Edward Norton was really good as the Hulk. I don't know what happened. I still don't know what happened. I'm pretty sure that it's been explained, but I keep forgetting why he was recast. But it is what it is. Like I still remember Edward Norton though as a good Hulk. I will still remember that. So third was, off the top of my head by the way, I'm a fan so I should know anyway. Third was Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 was a bad movie, but I don't blame the director, I blame the studio. The director wanted a certain amount of time to make the movie, and they're like, no, you have 1 year less, right? Because they wanted to push the Avengers, and I get that, the Avengers, it was coming up. They wanted to build up to the Avengers and other things as well. So they gave the director 1 year less than he actually wanted to make the movie. So he had to rush quicker to like make the movie, and you could see it in the movie. Like there's so many plot lines in it. Like it started to put too many things in one movie, and it started to become a setup movie for future movies. There's another movie in the MCU that's guilty of that as well. We'll get to that later. A bigger movie than Iron Man 2 as well. We'll get to that like it's in phase 2. But this movie was a setup movie. It set up a lot of things. Black Widow was introduced in that movie. There was like 2 different villains. It just, the plot went here, there, everywhere. It's just, we'll just forget this one exists. Actually, we won't. Actually, I'll still watch it when I do a marathon. But I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, whatever. Actually, I'll do a series. Where I rewatch the Infinity Saga, where I rewatch the whole thing. I'll make a series, but it won't be like Movie My Movie. It'll be like 3 videos: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Yeah, I'll do that. Not Movie Monday though. Not Movie Monday. It'll be like separate videos. But anyway, back to topic. Iron Man 2. Let's just. It's not very good. It's not very good. So the after credits scene to Iron Man 2 sets up the Thor movie. The Thor movie, I did not watch at the cinema. I watched the first 3 at the cinema, but not Thor, because I wasn't interested. And at the time, I wasn't really like, I didn't know it was going to be a cinematic universe. Like, until the Avengers movie trailers, I did not know like they were connecting everything. I didn't know that, and I wasn't interested in Thor anyway, so I didn't watch it at the cinema. But I caught up eventually, like later on. I watched it like either just before or just after the Avengers movie, I think. I don't know. I watched it at some point in 2012. Anyway, yeah, the Thor movie for me was not very good. It did introduce Thor and Loki. Like, the best part of the movie was Loki. Loki's scene with Odin, where he has a heart attack, that was a very emotional scene. Loki was a very compelling villain. One of the only few villains in the MCU that have been like great. Like, when I think of great MCU villains, I'm thinking Loki, Bucky for one movie, Thanos obviously, Killmonger, Vulture. Like, those are what I call great MCU villains, and Loki's up there. Like, he was just fantastic. He's not a villain anymore, but still, he's up there. He was a fantastic villain, and he carried the movie really in a way. But it wasn't that good, you know. I just don't think much of this Thor movie. The Thor wasn't even that cool until Ragnarok. When you think about it, Ragnarok and Infinity War, that was the best Thor. Like, we saw Thor being the best. But, you know, in the Thor movies, in the first two movies and the Avengers movies, he wasn't that cool until Ragnarok. He wasn't. That's probably as part of the reason why. It had a bit of like Game of Thrones vibes, you know, when you first see Asgard and everything. And usually, I love Game of Thrones. I think it's a great show, but considering it's got Game of Thrones vibes, it doesn't really like deliver on those vibes, you know. Because it is partly about a throne. Like, two guys, it's three people. One's on the throne. One's supposed to be on the throne, but he's not on the throne yet, and the other is jealous, wants to throne himself. Let's just stop explaining. Let's just stop going into too much detail. But yeah, it just wasn't that good a movie to me. So then you move on to Captain America: The First Avenger. Watched this with my school friends. I remember this pretty well. I was really into it. The first time I saw it, I was like, yeah, this is pretty good. But rewatch value, not too much. Captain America obviously is a great hero. Like, him and Tony, they're at the top. Like, they are the heroes of the MCU. And the first Avenger, it does some good things. Like, it does some good things. It introduces a good origin story, I think. I think it's a good origin story for Captain America. And I like the dynamic between him and Peggy as well. And that obviously sets up Endgame eventually. But still, you know, apart from that, and Red Skull was quite a good villain, to be fair. He wasn't that bad. But the movie doesn't hold up for me. Like, it kind of... It's good, and then it just falls off, you know? And then it gets good again towards the end. Yeah, mixed feelings about this, to be honest. I don't think it was bad. Don't think it was good. Would be harsh to call it average as well. Say I'd call it passable. Yeah, passable. It's alright. It's alright. It's just, it's neither good nor bad. It's okay. Yeah, that's the right term. It's just an okay movie. But I do enjoy parts of it, obviously. I do enjoy parts of that movie, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And then you move on to the Avengers. I think I've covered all 6 now, haven't I? I'm sure I have, yeah. The Avengers. Great movie. Like, just like Iron Man, I mentioned earlier, there are a few movies that needed to work, and this was one of them. If this Avengers movie did not work, then the MCU would not be where it is now. And this movie, along with the Dark Knight trilogy in 2012, was what got me into superhero movies, like properly into it. Before that, I was a casual fan. I was like a casual watcher of superhero movies, Marvel and DC, but in 2012, I became a huge fan, and it was because of Batman and the Avengers. So, just so you know. Anyway, yeah, the MCU itself was a risk, and they managed to make it work somehow. They managed to bring together all these characters, these 6 characters. They did solo movies for Iron Man, 2 of them, Thor solo movie, Captain America solo movie, and a Hulk solo movie. They introduced Black Widow in the Iron Man 2 movie. They introduced Hawkeye in the Thor movie. They introduced all of them in these 5 movies to build it up. Then they finally put them all together in one team in Avengers, and damn, it worked so well. That final battle in New York, that last 40 minutes or so, That is an awesome damn battle. Like, I love that battle. I could watch it again and again and again. That is one of the most memorable battles in the MCU. So I'm glad they brought it back in Endgame for sure, in the time travel thing, because it was a nice throwback. I love that movie, man. It did a lot for the MCU, did a lot for me as a fan. Great memories. Just such a great damn movie. Such a great damn movie. So we reviewed phase 1 so far. So Iron Man I give a 9 out of 10. I give nothing a 10, by the way. 9 out of 10 for Iron Man though. Incredible Hulk, probably a 6. It's not like, I like the portrayal of Hulk by Edward Norton, but that was really it, really. And the fight scenes as well. But as a movie, a 6. Iron Man 2, give it like a 4. I'm being too nice, but yeah, it's low. Thor, 6.5, 7. 7 is too high. 6.5. First Avenger, 7. 7 it's all right. 7 is all right for me. Well, actually, 7 is good, but should be better. Yeah, First Avenger. Avengers, 9 out of 10. Yeah, definitely. On to phase 2 then. Iron Man 3, bad movie. I did not like it. Like, it's my opinion, obviously. These are all my opinions. You can disagree. You can tell me I'm wrong. That's completely fine. It's all opinions. But I did not like Iron Man 3. I did not like the Mandarin twist. Like, the Mandarin twist did it for me. I was like, even before that twist, I was like, this movie isn't that good. At least not to me, anyway. The main thing I liked was the kid that he met, in that movie, the smart kid, and that was a cool dynamic right there. And that kid was actually in Endgame in the funeral. If you didn't know, that kid standing alone, that's him, same actor as well. So that was nice. Some of the fight scenes were right. The final battle, it was quite big, but I didn't enjoy it. But yeah, the Mandarin twist, I was just like, really? And okay. And then the real Mandarin, the other guy, he wasn't that interesting to me. Honestly, I probably would have liked it better if the actual Mandarin was actually interesting. It was actually really cool, but I did not like the actual villain. Like, I did not enjoy watching him in the movie. Just my thoughts. Then you got Thor: The Dark Worlds, easily the worst MCU movie, but it is important for Endgame. Endgame, they try and travel back to that movie, so if you are ever gonna marathon these movies, then don't miss out Thor: The Dark World, because you have to, because you get reminders of like his mom dying, and obviously introduce the reality stone as well. That's another good thing it does. Reality stone introduced into the movie, and they tell you what it is basically, what it looks like. So it's good for some things, but oh yeah, there was a scene in that movie where Thor takes the London Underground. I live in London, so that was really cool to me. I was like, it's pretty funny. Like, he asked the woman like which way the station was, and she said like one stop that way or something. I thought that was a funny scene. As a Londoner, I appreciated that scene. So yeah, a couple good things in there, but worst movie in the MCU for me easily. Then you get to Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I said Iron Man was the best origin story. The Winter Soldier is the best solo movie by far. Like, like the only movies for me that are better than Winter Soldier are Avengers movies, Infinity War and Endgame, probably at this point anyway. I'll probably do a ranking next week. That is the plan for next week. I'm gonna rank all 22 movies, but for me, Winter Soldier holds up. It's a top 3 MCU movie for me. Like, it's really that good. It stands alone as well, which is nice. It's also more serious. The MCU is obviously known for jokes and to make it fun. I enjoy it still, despite the jokes. Like, the only time where it was like too much was Ragnarok and Guardians 2. But overall, I don't have an issue with the comedy. Like, it's not too much for me in most movies. It's fine. But I do still appreciate when they make more serious movies more often. And the Captain America movies, all 3 of them, they're more serious in tone. Black Panther, politically serious. There were jokes in that as well, but still, it was serious in that movie. Civil War, I mentioned actually Captain America movies, Infinity War, Endgame, jokes in those as well, but they were serious movies too. So I enjoy like when they do more serious stuff. I just think it's cool. I like dark. Dark is cool for me. And you can still make jokes and still make it dark, and it's fine. Like, but I do love serious movies for superheroes, and The Winter Soldier was one of these serious movies, and I think it was just fantastic. Bucky was a great villain. He didn't stay a villain obviously after that movie, but still he was a great villain in that movie. They really shocked me as well. They really shocked me when I watched it for the first time, and I realized it was Bucky. I didn't even realize. I was just like, that's the guy who died in the first one. I was so shocked at the time. That was just like, I'm pretty sure comic book readers probably knew already, but I did not know. I did not read comics, so I was just like, now that is a damn twist. I was over the moon with that. It was just a brilliant movie in general, and it was awesome. It really was. It was awesome. It was damn awesome. Speaking of awesome, Guardians of the Galaxy. Now I did not watch this until like 3 weeks after it went in cinemas, because I was just like, what is this? Even though I was a fan of the MCU, I was like, should I watch this? Nah, I'm not gonna watch this. It looks weird. I looked at it. I was like, okay, so there's this guy, there's this green alien, there's a tree, there's Batista painted, and these are my actual thoughts at the time. There's from the trailers, by the way. That's Batista. He's painted for some reason. That's a talking tree and a little raccoon, and I was just like, not sure about this one, Chief. I'm really not sure. But then I saw people liked it, and I was just like, okay, you know what? There's nothing on at the moment. I got membership at the cinema, so I'll just go and watch it. And damn, did I love it! It was amazing. It was actually amazing. Like, I did not realize it was like part of the MCU either. Like, I thought it was just an ordinary Marvel movie standalone, and it wasn't. It was connected as well, but it was still separate, to be fair, and that's partly why it worked. But it was a great movie. It was a great movie, action-packed, comedy-filled in a good way. The villain wasn't that good, to be honest, but Thanos was in it for like 5 minutes. No, not 5 minutes. Less than 5 minutes, but he was in there. He had a full scene as well. There's a full Thanos scene. He looked a lot bigger back then, different color as well, slightly different shade of purple. But they obviously like changed him in Infinity War. But still, I thought that was a cool Thanos scene. I really enjoyed that. Like, I really liked Ronan talking to Thanos. I thought that was cool. And Gamora's obviously Thanos' daughter, and I liked how they introduced Star-Lord's origin story. Like, I think his origin story is very emotional and really gripping. I really like I don't like the fact that his mom died, but the origin story emotionally, it really hits me, and I think it's really cool how they did it. And I wish they showed Rocket's story, because I played the Guardians Telltale, the game, and they showed Rocket's backstory in that, about Squirrel, a partner he had, and spoiler alert, she died. And I was playing the game, and I was like, it was emotional. Like, I was emotional. I was just like, damn, this is a compelling story. And when I saw that storyline in the game of Guardians of the Galaxy, I thought, they should put that in a movie. Like, that is a really compelling storyline. I just would have liked to see Rocket, Groot's, and Drax's origins more. Like, instead of like explained, I wanted to see like what they're actually like. But we never really got that, to be fair. Same with Gamora as well. Until like Infinity War, they really like went in depth of her character with Thanos. But before that, we didn't get much from her either. It was just Star-Lord's origin that we got. But I would like to know like their origins more, but we don't really, we never see them. We just hear them talking about it. But you know, but still, I love the Guardians. I think they're awesome, and I was just like, wow, I can't wait till they meet the Avengers. This is gonna be awesome. I had to wait like until Infinity War. But anyway, so great movie. Then on to Age of Ultron. Now, this was the movie I was talking about that suffered from setting up other movies, like I mentioned earlier. This is that movie, Age of Ultron. It sets up Civil War Infinity War, Endgame as well, Black Panther, Ragnarok. Yeah, it sets up Ragnarok as well. And I think there's something else it sets up. Maybe. I think. Not sure actually. But it sets up 2 Avengers movies as sequels. Sets up Black Panther. Sets up Ragnarok. And what else did I say? The point is, it sets up so many movies, and I think it suffers from it. I really think it does. Quicksilver's death was shocking, but it didn't feel as emotionally impactful. But I understand the stakes, obviously. And the movie just wasn't that good. It was underwhelming. Also, the main issue was the villain. Ultron looked really cool and menacing in the trailers. In the movie, he was still cool, but he wasn't menacing. He was disappointing. Like, they lied to us in the trailers, and not in a good way. Like, obviously in Infinity War trailers, they lied to us too, but those are like in a good twisty way. Age of Ultron, they teased the dark villain. There are no strings on me. He was so like, I was like, wow, I'm getting ready for this, a dark Avengers movie. Then you see the movies and he's just cracking jokes, and he's like, he's so like quippy. It's just, he's an underwhelming. He was underwhelming as a villain. He was pretty cool, but underwhelming as a villain, and it was just a little bit annoying because I think that let the movie down. There were some good scenes though. Visually, it was very nice. And the Hulk scene of Iron Man in Africa, I think, was it in Wakanda? I don't think it was in Wakanda. It was somewhere else. That was a cool thing. The fight scenes were cool, but as a plot, as a storyline, and the villain himself, wasn't a fan. So yeah, Phase 2 ends with Ant-Man, which is pretty crazy. So before Infinity War, actually before Endgame, I would have said that Ant-Man in the MCU is not necessary. Like, I would have said, instead of like introducing Ant-Man, you could have done a Black Widow movie back then, or another movie. I just thought that Ant-Man wasn't worth putting on the big screen. I enjoyed the first movie as well. Like, I thought it was a nice heist movie. It wasn't great to me, but it was pretty good. I quite enjoyed it. It was quite funny as well. The villain was alright. He looked cool anyway. But he was just like, this was similar to Iron Man in terms of like plot lines, like another guy trying to take over the company. You know what I mean? And yeah, Marvel loved doing like evil versions of the character, of the hero, like Black Panther, Killmonger, Iron Man, Obadiah, Captain America, Bucky. I mean, it's not always bad, to be fair, but you get the point. Evil versions of themselves. They love doing evil versions of the hero as villains, and look, that's fine. It does work as well, but that's also what Ant-Man was. That's also what Yellow Jacket was in Ant-Man as well. But it was also a heist movie as well, which is a different aspect to MCU, and I thought that was pretty cool. But I liked that movie. But I felt before Endgame that Ant-Man was not necessary. But then Endgame came around, the quantum realm was a big part of it. And I thought, you know what? We needed him. He was there. He was definitely needed. Actually, we needed Hank Pym. But still, Ant-Man was necessary. He was necessary. I changed my mind on that. Did a complete U-turn. Ant-Man is the GOAT of being small. Anyway, yeah. Phase 2 rankings. Ratings, not rankings. Iron Man 3. Give it a 5. Thor: The Dark World, give it a 1. That's very harsh, but it was bad. Okay. Winter Soldier, we'll give that a 9. Guardians, 9. Age of Ultron, 7. I was disappointed, but I would still watch it. Like, it's a fun movie. It's just not that good, but I'd still watch it. So I give it a 7 still. Ant-Man, 7, 7.5. It's pretty fun. Not great, but pretty fun. Then you move on to Phase 3, which starts with Captain America Civil War, which is basically Avengers 2.5. It's not really, though, when you think about it, because it concentrates on Tony and Cap, more or less. The others are just side characters, really, when you think about it, which makes sense. The airport battle was amazing. Fight scenes were great. It was a more serious movie as well, which I like. But the main issue with this movie was it wasn't really civil war. It was a dispute between two people, more or less, over something else. But I still think it was a great movie. I thought it was really good. Like, I really enjoyed this. I thought it was fantastic. The final battle between the three guys, it was crazy, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that movie. At the time when I watched it, I thought this is the best MCU movie at the time. Changed my mind afterwards, though. Changed my mind afterwards. There's a bit of reactionary bias, but I still think it's really good. I think it holds up for sure. But yeah, it wasn't really Civil War. Civil War's a lot bigger in the comics. This was not Civil War. But I can see why they call it Civil War. But still, it was great. It was a great movie, I feel. Then you move on to Doctor Strange. Really good movie, I feel. A solid movie. Not great, but a good, solid movie. A nice origin story to Doctor Strange. A similar origin story to Ant-Man and Iron Man, actually. In a way. Against Caecilius. But yeah, he's like Magic Iron Man in a way. You know, RDJ might have made a good Doctor Strange, you know. I'm not saying that's what I want. I didn't want that. I want Benedict Cumberbatch is a good casting, but Robert Downey Jr. really could have. I think he could have pulled it off. I think he definitely could have pulled off Doctor Strange. Anyway, back to Benedict. It was good. Doctor Strange was a good movie, a good origin story. I liked what they did, and I think it was awesome. I think it was really awesome. Looking forward to the sequel. Looking forward to it. I cannot wait to see what they do with this movie. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Now, this is an unpopular opinion, but you know what? I'm saying it anyway. It wasn't that good. For me, this was more disappointing than Age of Ultron. Genuinely. Like, I don't think it was terrible, but I don't like Guardians 2. There are some nice things to it. There's Nebula Gamora's arc. There's Peter meeting his dad, but then he turns out to be some maniac who's murdered all his siblings, which it's actually pretty dark when you think about it. But one of my issues, ironically, one of my issues with it was they overdid the jokes a little bit. Like, I know the Guardians is a comedic group, a comedic movie franchise, but they overdone it with Guardians 2. Like, Drax overly laughing, overreacting, and other things as well. Drax laughing at Mantis being ugly. It was so weird at times to watch. Some of the comedy just did not land. Most of it didn't land with me in that movie. I felt like people complain about Ragnarok being too comedic. This was worse. This was a lot worse, in my opinion. It was over the top, like way over the top. And there was a lot of dead children as well. It was pretty dark as well at the same time. Like, there was, like, you see hundreds of dead children's skeletons because Ego's killed all of them. And then it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, it's a pretty, obviously it's partly dark, and it's dark but not in a good way, but it's also like, I don't know, it shows a bunch of skeletons. Like, you're basically showing mass murder in front of us. which is crazy. James Gunn was mental in that. Jeez, he went crazy mode. Drax, I like Drax, but it should be more serious. I think he was too jokey, way too jokey in Guardians 2. I don't mind now because Ronan is dead, Thanos is dead. He's got justice. Drax has got justice, so I can see now why he wouldn't be serious. He'd be more jokey. But in Guardians 2, Thanos is still alive. I just think that it'd be more like into trying to kill Thanos. You know, I thought he'd be more serious about it. But whatever. I still like Drax. I like the Guardians. I think they were cool. It's just that, you know, the main great thing about this movie was the fact that they teased Adam Warlock. I was just like, yeah, Adam Warlock is coming. It's game on. They teased it at the end after credits scene, I'm pretty sure. That group though, that does gold people, whatever they were called, they were annoying. They were a nuisance in the movie, to be honest. A nuisance. But yeah, Ego wasn't a fan of that villain, to be honest. But emotionally, Star-Lord's story was good in that movie as well. Star-Lord's story has been consistently good, I feel, in the Guardians movies and Infinity War. I felt it was very emotional for him, and I felt like it was really good. The fact that it messed up in Infinity War, even though I was annoyed at him, it suits his character to like emotionally cause them to lose because Thanos killed his girl. It makes sense. He lost his mother. He found out his father killed his mother. He had to kill his father. Then, not long after, he finds out that Thanos killed his daughter, which is his girl, obviously. You get why, you know, he would emotionally like react. And Doctor Strange could have stopped him and didn't. So maybe Thanos needed to break out of there for it to work, for the Endgame to pan out the right way. So, you know, it's all good. I do like Star-Lord's story the most. I just wish they would expand the other Guardian stories more. But I still enjoyed. I didn't enjoy the movie, but I still liked the Guardians. But Guardians 2 for me, underwhelming. It was bang average, in my opinion, which is unpopular because a lot of people liked it, but I was not a big fan. I was not a big fan. Spider-Man Homecoming, good movie. It gets some hate because, you know, it's apparently a bit too jokey or whatever, and he's too focused around Tony Stark and stuff. I don't have an issue with it, to be honest. I thought it was good. I like the dynamic between him and Peter. He found him in Civil War, then they had their scenes in Homecoming, then it paid off, I feel, in Infinity War and Endgame. Like, that scene on the ship where Tony's like, he was talking about losing Peter, and if I lose you, I feel like that's on me. And you really feel that when you rewatch that scene now, because Tony lost Peter in Infinity War right at the end, and that scene hits harder when you remember that scene from Homecoming. And I think it was an amazing dynamic between Tony and Peter, because Peter was like the closest thing Tony had to his son in a way, because they were like, he was a mentor for him, a big mentor. Peter, obviously, he already lost Uncle Ben and his parents, so Tony was like this role model figure for him. And I thought it worked really well. And I love this Spider-Man because he can play Peter Parker and Spider-Man well. And he played a kid. Like, Spider-Man, when he gets his powers, should be a kid. And the fact that he's a kid in the MCU, I just think is awesome. Nothing against Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield, but they never looked like kids. And to be fair, Andrew was a good Spider-Man, a very good Spider-Man. Tobey was a really good Peter Parker, but Tom Holland nails both sides, and he actually looks like a kid, which is fantastic. That suits Spider-Man. And I think it was a good movie. I really enjoyed Homecoming. And then you get to Ragnarok, which gets some criticism for being too comedic, which it is, but I can still look past it because I liked the movie. I think the plot was good. I think Thor and Hulk, they were both interesting in that movie, and Valkyrie as well, she was cool. Loki story arc, it was very nice in this movie too. So I think this movie paid off well. Korg was funny, Meek was interesting, but and Hela was a good villain. She wasn't great, but she was a good villain. So character wise it was good, storyline wise I think it was good. So because of that, I could look past the comedy. I could look past it, even though it was right in your face. But still, I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that movie. I think it was really good, and in a way it sets up Infinity War as well. So then you move on to Black Panther. Very good movie. Some people regard it as like the greatest, but it's not. It's good. It's very good. It's got a great villain. It's got a good story. The characters are cool. I really like Shuri. Shuri's a cool character. I hope to see her more in the MCU. I think she's awesome. Okoye, T'Challa, obviously. Very good characters in this. M'Baku as well. There were some awesome characters in this. Like, really awesome characters. And it works. The main issue though is the CGI in the last battle was so bad. It was horrendous, kind of, to be honest. I didn't notice at first because I was into the movie, but yeah, when you look at it, when you look back on it, the CGI is terrible in the Black Panther final battle. But storyline wise, it's really good. But like the fight scenes, there's a good fight scene in the middle between T'Challa and Killmonger one-on-one. Apart from that, you know, fight scenes don't deliver as well, but like everything else I think delivers, and I think it's a good solid movie, and I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. Then you move on to Avengers Infinity War. Now this, for me, even now, is the best MCU movie. Like, this was amazing. It was intense. It was very fast paced, and they made it work. They made it work. They put all these characters together for the first time, and somehow it all just came together like a snap. Just no pun intended, but it all worked. It worked fantastically. There were some errors there. There were some issues in the movie, but it wasn't perfect. But it was amazing. Like, it was a great movie, and somehow, with all these different scenes, different tones, different theme songs, they managed to put it all together in a great way, and it was a fantastic movie. And the villain won. The villain won. Also in Civil War as well. In Civil War, there's a villain, Zemo. He won as well. Forgot to mention that. But it's not very often that the villain wins, especially in a superhero movie. But in this one, the villain won. Just like, you know, technically in The Dark Knight, the Joker won. Zemo won. Who else won? There's got to be someone else who won as a villain. I don't know, but Thanos won. And that was just like, wow, they actually did that. They did the snap. And it was just amazing. It was just brilliant. And people see it as a cliffhanger. It's not a cliffhanger. It would have been a cliffhanger if they ended it on the snap, like when it went widescreened. If they ended it there, that's a cliffhanger. But they gave it an ending. They gave an ending. Thanos won. People disappeared. Everyone realized what had happened. Thanos is sitting there, accomplished his mission, and boom, it was done. Like, Thanos, like, the battle was over, the war was over, Thanos won. What's the cliffhanger? Because it has a sequel, it's a cliffhanger. In the sequel, they try and fix it, but it's not like a cliffhanger to the sequel. It's not. By that logic, like, every movie with a sequel is a cliffhanger. If you're going by that logic, like, Infinity War is not a cliffhanger. It really isn't. Is Avengers 1 a cliffhanger? No. Why is Infinity War a cliffhanger? Like, I want to know, like, why is it a cliffhanger? It's two different plot lines. Like, seriously. It's two different plot lines. The villain wins. Whatever. Anyway, yeah, great movie. Fantastic movie. I love this movie. I will always cherish it. Like, there are certain movies that I will watch again and again and again and again and again and again, at least a few times a year, and that is the entire Dark Knight trilogy, the first Avengers movie, and Infinity War, and Endgame as well. I'm sure will be one of them. Like, I can't wait till I get Endgame on Blu-ray. I can't wait to watch Infinity War and Endgame both on the same day, like a few times a year. And the Dark Knight trilogy as well. They're just movies that I just can watch multiple times. And Infinity War is just, it's up there as one of them. And it's awesome. Like, it doesn't hold up if you haven't seen the previous movies. I'll be honest there. Like, Infinity War and Endgame, they don't hold up without the previous movies. Endgame especially does not hold up without Infinity War. Like, if you don't watch Infinity War and you watch Endgame, then it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. I feel like, to be honest, I feel like if you're a newcomer and you just watch Infinity War and you just watch Endgame, I think it could, like, work for you. Honestly, I think you could still think it's good without the previous movies, but I still think you need the previous movies for everything to make sense, all the references, etc. But yeah, that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. But you do need the previous movies. They don't hold up on their own. But I still think, like, as long as you've watched the previous movies, as long as you remember the characters, like who they are, you don't have to remember their stories necessarily. But if you remember all the characters, just watch every movie once. If you remember all the characters, for me, that's all you need. And I remember all the characters, so I can just watch Infinity War and Endgame on their own without a marathon, and it will all make sense to me. So yeah, I just think it's awesome. Infinity War is a damn great movie. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Moving on to Ant-Man and the Wasp. This movie is not that bad, but it came at the wrong time. It came at the wrong time. This movie was not that good to me. It didn't have a great villain. The villain wasn't really a villain, really. Like, I mean, there were more than one villains. There was more than one villain, but there was like a villain who wasn't really a villain, just wanted to survive, and another guy helping that villain that was just helping her, wanting to survive, and these other villains that were businessmen, and the prison people, and Ant-Man himself was a hero, obviously, and the Wasp was there. There was a lot of things in this, but it came at the wrong time for me. I did not enjoy Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like, I didn't rewatch it. Like, I got the Blu-ray right now. Haven't watched the Blu-ray yet. Like, I haven't rewatched Ant-Man and the Wasp since I watched it at the cinema. Like, genuinely, I just wasn't into it. It just came at the wrong time for me. Like, I was hyped for Endgame, like, already. Like, I didn't want that movie at that point. But it came, and I didn't enjoy it that much. Although the Wasp was cool. Her fight scenes were awesome. Apart from that, introduced the quantum realm, but yeah, it doesn't do much for me. I'll watch it again, see what I think in future probably. But based on watching it once, wasn't into it. Captain Marvel. This gets a lot of hate for many reasons. For me, it wasn't that bad. For me, it was alright. It was passable. Rating, I gave it probably a 6.5 or a 7. No, probably a 7 actually. For me, it's on the same level as First Avenger. It's not terrible. It's not that good. Average would be a bit harsh. I'd say it's just an okay movie. I thought it was fine. It definitely had a lot of issues, for sure. Had a lot of issues, but I felt it was fine. I thought Captain Marvel was pretty cool. I liked her suit as well. Her costume is awesome looking. Similar colours to Captain America as well. I don't agree with her being the face of the MCU though going forward. Apparently that's the plan. I want it to be T'Challa. Like, Black Panther, I think, would be an awesome lead for the MCU because, well, he's the rich guy. He's the rich trillionaire who can provide technology, equipment, and money, and he can fund the Avengers from now. He should be the guy, in my opinion. Or it could be him and Captain Marvel, like Tony and Cap, possibly. But yeah, I just think like T'Challa could be like what Tony was to the Avengers, possibly. But that's a different story. I'll make a video about that as well in the future. I got a video plan about what I want to see in the MCU in the future. Phase 4, Phase 5. I'll put that up probably in June or July or whatever. But yeah, I just think Captain Marvel wasn't that bad, but it wasn't that good. The Skrulls were interesting at least. And yeah, Ronan should have been in there more, for sure, a lot more. Should have been the main villain, to be honest. But yeah, giving her a chance for sure. She hasn't been that bad, as people are saying. I don't think she was good in Endgame. I think Endgame, I think she was pretty good. She didn't take the shine away from the other Avengers, I think, and she didn't kill Thanos. So, you know, she wasn't in there that much either. She was in there for like 10-15 minutes probably, which was completely fine. Like, I felt that was good. Like, it needed to concentrate on the main Avengers, and it did. And I felt like she was good in that movie anyway. And when Thanos headbutted her, that was pretty badass. It was a bit like when you hit Superman and nothing happens. It's a bit like that. She's meant to be Marvel Superman as well, so it makes sense. So yeah, moving on to the Endgame. So, not much to say already. I've already reviewed it, did a spoiler talk, but it was a fantastic and beautiful ending to a great saga, a great storyline. And apparently, Far From Home is part of this saga. I don't know why, but apparently it's part of it, so we'll rope that in later. I'll review it at some point, but when it comes out, obviously. But yeah, the Infinity Saga was great, and this was a great ending. And obviously, Avengers Assemble on your left. That was one of the best scenes in the MCU. Not the battle itself, but leading up to it, Avengers Assemble on your left. Oh, the music behind it as well. Perfect. There's a lot of good references in this. Not many good fight scenes apart from the end, but a lot of good references, a lot of good lines. There's a lot of good throwbacks and callbacks to previous movies, which is awesome, I think. This movie was fan service. It really was. Like, it was catered mainly towards the fans of Marvel that have been watching this whole time, or part of the time anyway. So I think that was awesome, like how they did that. I think that was great fan service. And regardless of where the MCU goes from now, I'm glad that they did what they did with this franchise. I'm glad they gave us this great 11 years, and I appreciate it so much. I really do. I really do appreciate it. So yeah, that'll be it, I guess. Actually, ratings. Right. Where are we? This has been a very long phase, so excuse me if I forget. But I've mentioned all of them, right? I'm pretty sure I have. Civil War, 8 out of 10. Doctor Strange, 8 out of 10. Guardians 2, 6. 6. Guardians 2, 6. Homecoming, 7.5. Doctor Strange, 8. No, Doctor Strange? No, Ragnarok, 7.5. Black Panther, 8. Infinity War, 9. 9.2. It was amazing. Ant-Man and the Wasp, 6 at the moment. I have to watch it again though, to see like if I'm wrong about it, if it's not actually that bad. But 6 for Ant-Man and the Wasp. Captain Marvel, 7, around a 7, maybe just under. And that's 9 movies, isn't it? Wow. Endgame, 9.1. It was amazing. So that's 10 movies, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 10. 10 Phase 3 movies. Crazy. I think Phase 4 will be a cool down period. It'll be like Black Widow movie. Eternal should set up future movies. They'll close out Guardians, Doctor Strange, Black Panther sequels. They'll concentrate on sequels. Shang-Chi as well. They'll introduce new characters. And then Phase 5 will build up to the next big thing, whatever that is. And I think Phase 5 will bring in the X-Men. I don't know where Deadpool fits into this, but yeah, we'll see what happens. This was your boy Davidoff. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. I want to see Doctor Doom and Galactus and Deadpool and the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, especially Wolverine. Bring it. And I want Magneto to meet his daughter. Damn it, Magneto to meet Scarlet Witch. Make it happen, MCU. And see ya.